What up, though? What up, though? Guess we better get into it. So I know by now everybody probably done heard about Cam Sutton and what's been going on with him and domestic violence charge and the warrant being put out for his arrest. Um, you know, I heard what Derek said on Lions Syndicate and on Lions Talk and Micro Mike and me, I like to listen to a lot of different people so I can make an informed decision on what I'm gonna say and everything. And when it comes to subjects like this, the NFL has had a lot of these cases. Greg Harding, um, Ray Rice, Kareem Hunt, and each one you can take whatever you will out of it. I mean, from it, but it just seems like it's such a delicate situation because you know I've been in situations where I've been falsely accused of things, and I've been where I moved somewhere and I was trying to network, get jobs and find out about what's going on in the place that I moved. And there was already rumors spread about me and everything, and it was hard for me to like network because someone already formed their opinion about me. So I understand when it comes to possibly having false accusations against you. And so you see it from that side because there's been many cases where there's been false accusations against people, and like Derek has said, you know, you can be tried in the court of public opinion before you be tried in a judicial court. So we know that happens. So even with this video, I'm gonna be careful not to make any kind of accusations. But based on what we see and the facts that we have, it seems like they had enough evidence, or they felt they had enough evidence to issue a warrant. On the other side, you don't want to quote unquote victim shame and make it seem like it's all about Cam and not about the victim, especially when it comes to domestic violence, and things of that nature. You want to make sure that you walk on very thin ice. Well, let me say you walk on eggshells, however you want to say it, because it's such a delicate situation. Um, I can see it from both sides. What doesn't look good is that they've been trying to reach him for, they can say 13 days. His phone's not on, and all that thing's going. That makes him look guilty. That's the thing that makes him look guilty. You know, and like I said, no accusations. He can have his reasons for that, and they still could be innocent. So I want to say that's the reason that makes him guilty. It just doesn't look good. The other part that it could be something even worse than that. But I don't want to make those accusations. I just want to, give. I don't know. I debated about doing this video. I debated about doing the video because you have to be careful when it comes to these situations. Because, like I said from the beginning, I don't want to run a man down and he could be innocent, you know. And then at the same time, I want to make sure that that the victim gets her due diligence or her justice in her side. And, and it goes to show you that when I saw the Lions making these picks, I was like, okay, they got this person, got that person, plus they added these people. The Lions knew ahead of time and they got ahead of it. And that's why they got Hamik Robinson and they got Davis, and when Mosley come back. It's like they stacked their cornerbacks because they knew what was happening with Cam. And if something bad happened to him and he's in the bad way, I wish the best for him, health wise, mentally wise, his mental capacity and everything. I wish I want hopefully he's good in that aspect. But at the same time, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what happened. We don't know how does it affect both parties. No, it affects both parties. And even if he is guilty, if he's guilty, and this is something that you gotta be delicate about when you talk about, but there's both sides to it. You have the person who has been accosted, assaulted, whatever you want to call it, um, and they have to get their justice and their healing. You know, mentally, physically, they have to be healed. And the person who caused the harm has to be mentally and physically healed because you don't want that to happen to anybody else if that's what happened. I got to preface, keep saying that if that's what happened, you know, I'm not saying that he did it because I don't know, but on both sides, you have to look at that from both sides. I know I read some of the comments, and like I said, I watched a lot of the podcasts, and I think one thing I did want to touch on was that both parties are affected. We automatically say, "Oh, that guy is scum, and he's this and that," and you're justified for saying that if it's true, because he shouldn't. If what was said was true, what he had done, yeah, you justified for saying those things. However, you still want that person to be healed too, because you don't want him to do it again. You don't want it. You don't want that to be something that goes on and on and on and on. It's is an anger issue that's going on if that's what happened, you know. And I keep saying it because I know how people do when they get in the comments. They focus on one thing you say and not the totality of what I'm saying. I am not accusing him, and I'm not absolving him. I'm just saying if anybody's in that situation, both parties need healing. Both parties needs to be dealt with. Yes, I don't want to see or hear about um domestic violence issues. You don't want to hear about that. You don't want to see that. And going to the back to the Ray Rice incident, they had that on videotape. And when you watch the videotape, it's hard to watch. If you have any kind of compassion about about yourself, you have any kind of compassion for human life, that is hard to watch. Um, you know, but you still got to think about this. What led that person to that, and where we could have prevented that from getting to that point. You know, something happened where that person feel like that's how they solve their issues, their problems. And I think that's something we need to talk about too. I mean, I'm not. This is a sports platform, so we're not getting into psychology, but I think that's something that should be addressed. Um, I just hate to see it, man. I hate to see it. Like I said, I hope the victim is okay, and I hope that Cam's okay. I hope nothing to really happen to him, no foul play. Because they haven't heard from him. We assume he's on the run. That's why I got the question mark. We assume he's on the run, but something could happen to him. God forbid he decided to do something to himself. We don't know. Well, I would say I don't know. From what I've read and what I've seen, I haven't seen anything who know where he's at or what happened to him. I wish him the best. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I just want to throw something up here real quick. Talk about it. I wanted to kind of give my 2 cents. Look, and from that angle of the mental part of it, I think that's something that should be addressed. I mean, it's not like just an isolated incident in the NFL, in sports, in life. It's not isolated. But since this is a sports platform, it's not isolated even in the NFL. And it's something that needs to be addressed, needs to be handled in a way where it it curtails. I'm trying to think of a good way to say it. That because I don't think you're gonna stop anything 100%, but it kind of decreases the amount of times that you have these incidents. Let me say that. Um, I don't, and like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs. So I don't know all the ins and outs of how the NFL or different organizations handle these things, or what they do prior to this. Do they have any kind of intervention? Do they have any kind of classes or whatever to deal with situations before it gets to this? And I mean, like, I'm gonna say it's part of me got your way. Sometimes there's certain things in certain people, and it's not directly relating to this incident. We just talk about in general, and sometimes we ignore it and we don't address it. And I think that a lot of times we need to learn, especially in sports, or when you in a corporate environment, or you're in some kind of organization, there ought to be things in place where we can, like, get that person help, or get prevention in place to get it before it escalates. It could be, like I said earlier, it could be an anger issue, and you just don't know how to control your anger. And so there could be something to be addressed. You don't know how to handle conflict resolution. Maybe that's something you need to learn. Whatever the case may be, put those steps in place. We need to find a way so that we have less and less of these incidents. You know, I mean, look at Greg Hardy. That happened several times. He had several incidents. Ray Rice, Kareem Hunt. We can just go on and on and on and on about these incidents happening since this is an NFL thing. In the NFL, we see it happen a lot. We have to do something. I mean, I want to make this about Detroit Lions, because I want to get too much into like I said, the psychology of it, the psychiatry of it, and the social issue of it. I didn't want to get too much into that, but sometimes sports spills over into life, and they intersect, and they sometimes they have a head-on collision, and all this spills over, and you have to talk about all of it. But anyway, like, share, and subscribe. This Detroit Mail with No Name Podcast. Peace.